Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Solo Gamers Club, and welcome to our playthrough of Alone in the Shadows of Brimstone. This is episode 4, and it is entitled The Well, Part 3. So far, our heroes have held their own. We've managed to clear this next passage, although it does have pestilence flies involved, so when we're on this map tile, we won't be able to use any grit. We've managed to determine that there's one doorway that we can proceed through in an attempt to find our second clue token. We've already found one, so if we can find the next clue token, that is going to be the location of the beasts that we are pursuing. Right now the depth, our depth is at 12, and the creatures have managed to move up to 3 on the depth track. Right now the heroes aren't carrying any wounds or sanity damage, but each of them did pick up a corruption point. So we're going to continue on with the playthrough, and we'll start by holding back the darkness. Here is our roll. We're looking for a 7 or better. We've rolled a 9 and we are good. So each of our characters can activate in order. We'll start with our gunslinger, Silas. We'll have him roll for movement. And he rolls a 5, so he's got 5 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll have him move up there. And, well, we're not in too much time pressure yet, so I think I'm going to wait till the other party gets up a little closer. So I think we'll end his turn there, but I think he's going to scavenge. So we'll try a scavenge roll in this room and see if he can find anything. Here's the roll. He has 1 success. He rolled a 6. So we'll get our scavenge deck out and shuffle it up. Okay, we'll shuffle up our scavenge deck and we'll see what he gets. Okay, and he finds nothing here. 10 XP. Okay. So we've given Silas 10 XP. He's up to 220 XP at the moment. It's going to bring his turn to a close, and we'll see what's happening with Hana Okabe. She rolls a 2. Okay, so she's going to move up 2 spaces, 1 and 2. And I think at this point, we're going to start using some of our side bag tokens. She is going to use her fire sake token to try to get some additional fury tokens. When she uses a fire sake token, she can roll a d3 and she gets that many tokens. So here is her d3 roll. And she gets 3 fury tokens. That's great. So we'll award her 3 fury tokens. She can hold a maximum of 7 of them. So we've spent that fire sake token, and let's see what else she might be able to want to do. Well, I think she's going to attempt to scavenge. I have to place a scavenge token in the room from the scavenge by Silas. So we'll do that, and then she's going to attempt to scavenge. And she has no successes, so that'll bring her turn to a close, and now we'll activate Sister Hale. Now, Sister Hale picked up this outlaw armor earlier, and it requires a strength of 3 or higher to use. Now, I wanted to have her give that to our gunslinger, but unfortunately, he only has a strength of 2, so he can't wear it. And the problem with the outlaw armor is it's -1 agility and -1 initiative. So we've already determined that she probably can't wear this. It's -1 agility that would move her to 0 agility. But we could give it to Hana Okabe. The problem is that loss of initiative. I know the armor 3+ is great, but I'm just kind of caught between whether we should don that armor or not. She has such a great defense, though, that I don't think we're going to need it. But we'll see what happens. But for right now, she's just going to keep that in an unworn condition. Another thing she picked up is a very valuable Badlands Adventure gear. And that gave her a bandage, whiskey, and tonic on the card. And that gets refilled every adventure, so it's quite valuable. A lot of weight involved to it. So right now she is at 6 of her possible 8 anvils of weight that she can carry. What I'm contemplating is using the tonic token to get her an extra grit, but I think we'll just wait until we actually need it. So in this case, I think she's just going to roll for movement. So we'll have Sister Hale roll for movement. She rolls a 3, so we'll have her move ahead 3. 1, 2, and 3. And I guess we'll have her scavenge. Okay, here's the scavenge roll. And she has 1 success. So we'll get out our scavenge deck again and give that a shuffle. And see what she finds. Okay, there's our scavenge deck, and she gets, Emerging Darkness, 10 XP. Sometimes when you look too deeply into the shadows start looking back. Draw a darkness card. Okay, well, she's going to get 10 XP. But now we have to draw a darkness card, so we will do that. And see what kind of darkness card is drawn. She draws Power of the Void. All void enemies are now +1 combat, remains in play. That could be dangerous for us. All right, I placed all those remains in play cards on a little rack here above our status board so that we don't forget about those. That's going to bring this round to a close. Sister Hale does have 3 faith tokens, and I don't think we can use any of those because we don't have anything other than corruption. And I don't believe any of her things can get rid of corruption. No, they can't. All right, so we'll start another round. Okay, we're going to hold back the darkness. We've rolled an 8, so we're still doing good with our darkness rolls. That's great. Now we're going to activate in order, starting with the gunslinger, and we'll have him roll for movement. He rolled a 2. He's already in position. He's going to take a look down the path and see what he finds. All right, and he has found corrosive pools. It has an advanced encounter called acid drips. So we'll lay that out and see what we find. All right, our first step is to see if this advanced encounter is going to be active. 1, 2, or 3 is a yes. 4, 5, or 6 is a no. The result is a 4, so we won't have to deal with the advanced encounter. So we're going to place a new exploration token in that location, and we'll move our depth track now down to 11. There we go. Okay, so we're at 11 depth. All right, that was Silas's activation. We'll move on to the Wandering Samurai, Hana Okabe. We'll have her roll for movement. She rolls a 5. Okay, well, I think we're just going to cordon that off. I think. See, now, problem is, this room has that pestilence fly, so even if we're on the border of it, heroes on the map tile may not use grit. So I'm almost wondering if we should move in there to get away from that. I think I will. She'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we'll do it that way. And finally, we'll activate Sister Hale. She rolls a 3 for movement. We'll have her move 1, 2, and 3. All right, so we've completed their activations. We'll go to our end of the round, and now we're going to reveal that exploration token. We're looking for our second clue. And if this is the second clue, this will be the location of the den of the beasts. Here's the exploration token, and that is an ambush attack. The room has 2 doors, And this is an ambush attack. Let's find out where the door is not. So we'll make a roll using that card and find out, it'll be in that direction. Find out where there is a end cap. 5. Okay, the end cap will be here. The other 2 will be doors. All right, so we've updated our map. The end cap is in place. We have 2 doors, and this is going to be an ambush attack, and we'll be rolling on our beast table. I'll bring that up on the screen, and we're going to make a d6 roll, and we're looking for the medium threat column. This will tell us what we're fighting here. Here's the roll. It's a 1. And that's going to be 6 scourge rats and 1 rat's nest. Okay, we're going to lay that out. All right, we've laid out the ambush. We've got 2 scourge rats attacking each of the characters, and the rat's nest ended up over here next to Hana Okabe. Now the scourge rats and the rat's nest are mutant beasts. So the Power of the Void and the Demonic Force cards will not be in play, luckily for us. Now, as this is an ambush, creatures are going to gain +2 to their initiative for the first round. So let's adjust our initiative track. All right, the rats, scourge rats will be up 2. They're up to 10. And the rat's nest itself will be at 2. And it's going to win the tiebreaker against Sister Hale. So that'll be our turn order. And we'll take a look at the scourge rats. They are small, and they have the swarm ability. May move through other models, and it will gain +1 combat for each other adjacent scourge rat. So that's kind of interesting. Has a move of 12, escape 3+, 3+ melee, 1 combat, 3 damage, only 1 defense with 3 health. Rat's Nest is immobile. It cannot move. Has Darkstone Radiation 1. Hero ending their move adjacent to this enemy takes 1 corruption hit. It's also a spawner. At the end of each fight round, we're going to roll 3 dice. For the Rat's Nest, each roll of 4+ will place a new Scourge Rat adjacent to it. If there is no empty space to place the rat, instead every hero adjacent to the Rat's Nest will take 1 hit for 3 damage. And that Rat's Nest has a defense of 1 and 12 health. Okay. So we're going to begin the turn by rolling to hold back the darkness. Okay, here is the roll. And we've rolled a 12. That is a mine event, and that's one of the few that is going to be a benefit to us. So we'll read the depth event for the mine, and that says Stubborn Resolve. This place is horrible and unforgiving, but you're not about to give up without a fight. Each hero immediately can heal D6 wounds or sanity, any mix, or recover a grit. KO'd heroes would immediately recover, rolling for their injury or madness. So in this case, we're all healed up, so everybody is going to take a grit, I believe. With the exception of Hana Okabe, she's at maximum grit. So Sister Hale and Silas Brown will each get a grit. All right, we've given each of them a grit, so everybody's got their maximum grit of 2. Now, unfortunately, as the Silas and Sister Hale are partially on this map tile, the Pestilence flies kick in, and they can't use any grit until we can move off of that tile. So I'm thinking what we should do, target these creatures in front of us when the time comes, and then have them move into the room, and then we can get away from that grit requirement. All right. So now everyone is going to activate, starting with the Scourge Rats. And they're going to start launching attacks. And we'll begin with the 2 Scourge Rats attacking Silas. Now, they get a benefit called Swarm. They gain +1 combat for each other adjacent Scourge Rat. So we're going to have to roll these separately because of considering the proximities at which they're at. We'll start with this one. He normally has a combat value of 1, but he's adjacent to another one, so he'll have a combat value of 2 for this attack against Silas. Here's the roll. And I just realized I have to get my dice tower into the frame. We'll put it here. Okay. So it has a combat value of 2, and it's going to hit on a 3+. Let me get some red dice out. Okay. Here's the attack roll against Silas. And it's done 2 hits to him. All right, let's see if he can defend those. He has a defense level of 5+, so not too good. Here is the roll. He's defended neither of them, so he's going to take their damage level of 3. So each of those attacks, those hits, are going to give him 3 damage. And that's going to be a total of 6 wounds. Wow. So I've marked Silas with 6 wounds. He's at 6 of 10 right now. All right. And now the next attack on him. It's going to be from this Scourge Rat, and he is adjacent to 2 others. So his combat level will be 3. He'll get 3 dice, and he's going to hit on 3+. And they've hit twice. So Silas has to take defense rolls to see if he can stop those. Okay, here is the rolls. He stopped 1, and 1's going to get through for an additional 3 damage, moving him up to 9 of 10. So Silas is at 9 of 10. Now we will move on to the other Scourge Rat attacks, and we'll resolve the one against Sister Hale. This rat will attack her. It's adjacent, so it has 2 combat level. Here's the roll. And it has done 2 hits to her. She'll try to defend using her defense of 5+. She stopped 1 of them, but 1 is going to get through. So 3 damage to Sister Hale. And we'll mark her with 3 out of 12 wounds. Now this Scourge Rat is going to attack Sister Hale. It is adjacent to 3 others, so it's going to get +3 to its combat. It has a combat level of 4. So it'll be rolling 4 dice for this attack. That's getting dangerous. Okay, here's its 4 dice attack on Sister Hale. And it has done 3 hits. She has to defend 3 hits with a 5+ defense. Okay, here we go. And she managed to stop 1 set. 2 are going to get through, and that's going to cause a total of 6 damage, moving her up to 9 of 12. All right, now we will conduct the attacks on Hana Okabe. This is not going to be good. This Scourge Rat is attacking her. He is adjacent to 1 other Scourge Rat, giving him a combat level of 2. And he rolled 2 hits. She gets to defend, but she has a much better defense level. She has 3+. She's defended both, so no damage to her. Now the next Scourge Rat is going to attack. He's adjacent to 2 others, so he's going to be attacking with a combat level of 3+. Here is the roll. He scored 2 hits on her, so she has to try to defend these 2 with a 3+ defense. And she defended 1 of them, so 1 is going to get taken out. The other one will go through for 3 damage. So she is currently at 3 damage of 11, and that's going to bring the Scourge Rat's attacks to a close. We will now move on to activate Silas Barrow. All right, Silas will roll for movement. He rolls a 3, so he can't really move anywhere considering this layout. So he's going to start shooting with his pistol. Now, unfortunately, you have that Pestilence Flies card that is active, and that does not allow him to use any grit until he can get off that space. So that's going to be a problem. So in this case, he's going to open up with his pistol. It has 2 shots, and he's going to hit on a 3+. So here is his pistol shots. And we've got 2 hits. And I think he's going to apply those to this Scourge Rat first. And we'll see if we can maybe kill that thing, get some room in this, some area to operate. Okay, so he's hit the Scourge Rat. The Scourge Rat has a defense of 1. And he will see what the damage is. He rolled a 4. -1 is 3, and that's sufficient to kill the Scourge Rat. That is great. That's going to earn him 15 XP. Okay, he has 1 hit remaining, and he's going to apply that to this Scourge Rat in front of him. And we'll see what the damage is. It's -1 for defense. He rolls a 4, -1 is 3, and he's killed it. That is great. Another 15 XP, and now they've got some room here to maneuver. And that's going to complete Silas's activation. I think Silas is going to use a bandage, and I regret that I did not use his fine cigar that he had. And that would have prevented possibly a lot of wounds. But we're going to use the bandage that he has. That's going to give us a D6 of healing for Silas. So here is the roll. He's healed 2 points of damage only. That's not enough. He's down to 7 of 10. Okay. And I think he's going to use a fine cigar right now. And that's going to last for the rest of the turn. Well, maybe I'm better off waiting until he's actually attacked. See, that's one thing that I don't know is with these side bait tokens. Can you play them whenever you want to? It doesn't really say, you know. I'm going to have to look through maybe the frequently asked questions real quick and see what is the ruling on that. Yeah, the rules really don't say, but I'm assuming that these are like fast action tokens that can be used at any time. So in this case, I won't use the cigar until I need it. But I wish I would have remembered about those cigars before that last combat. That could have saved us a lot of wounds here. Okay, so anyway, that is going to finish up the gunslinger. We'll move on to Hana Okabe. We'll have her roll for movement. And she rolls a 3. Okay, I think I'm going to leave her. Well, see, we're going to be taking damage if we end our turn next to the rat's nest, so we might not want to do that. Let me think about this for a second. Yeah, I think we're going to try to move, so I'm going to have her roll an escape roll. We need to get a 3+ to escape. She only rolled a 2, so we can't escape. We have to stay where we are. All right, she's going to open up with her katana. Now, she has those 4 fury tokens, so I'm going to see if I can creatively use those with her battle tactics. I think she's going to attempt to employ this dancing dragon battle tactic. She can spend fury up to her hero level to use the battle tactic. And what happens is she targets an enemy within 2 spaces. And then she moves to that location, placing a fury token. Then she's going to make an agility 5+ test, and if she passes, she can do the same thing to another location that is 2 spaces away. So let's try that. So she's going to spend a fury token. She's going to start by moving on to this creature's location, dropping off a fury token, and then she's going to make an agility 5+ test to see if she can continue with this dancing dragon. She has an agility of 3, so we'll give her 3 dice, and she needs to get a 5 or better. She has failed, so she has to dismount from that location, and that allows her to move into any adjacent space. And I guess she'll go here. It's going to put her on a range, though, with... See, I'm worried about that, the corruption from that rat's nest. Maybe I'm better off just taking the corruption. I'll put her back here, and then what happens is that Fury, for each Fury token you placed, the creatures will take 1 point of damage from that. So that's what will happen. We're going to put a damage marker on that Scourge Rat, and she spent 1 Fury. Okay, now we've ended our turn adjacent to the rat's nest, and that's Darkstone Radiation. A hero ending their move adjacent to this enemy takes 1 corruption hit. So she's going to take a corruption hit. She can resist that with a willpower test. Her willpower is 4+. So let's see if she can resist the corruption. She did, so she won't take a corruption point. Now she's going to open up with her katana. She has a melee combat level of 2, and she's going to hit on a 3+. So we're going to have her roll 2 dice and see how many hits she can get. We've already damaged one of the Scourge Rats. Here's the roll. She's rolled double 6s. That is 2 critical hits. I'd love to place both of those on the rat's nest, but these things can, with the damage of 3, that really adds up. So I guess we're going to have one of them against the damaged creature. We'll roll for damage there. He already has 1 hit on him. Here's the damage roll. 2. 2 plus the 1 is 3. She kills the Scourge Rat. And that earns her 15 XP. So we'll apply the other critical hit to this Scourge Rat. See if we can kill it. We need to get at least 3. That is his health. We've got a 6. She's killed another Scourge Rat, and another 15 XP comes into her kitty. All right, I think that's all that she is going to do. She still has 3 Fury tokens. She also gained 1 for each of those that she killed, so she's right now at 5 Fury tokens. So we'll mark her with 5 Fury tokens, and I think that's all that she's going to do for this activation. So we'll continue on now with the Rat's Nest. The Rat's Nest activates. It's immobile. It is a spawner, and it says at the end of each fight round is when it's going to spawn those rats. So it really cannot attack or do anything during its activation. So we'll move on now to Sister Hale, and she is going to roll for movement. She rolls a 2. Okay, let's see if she can evade and move, and we'll see if she can. We'll try an escape roll against the Scourge Rats. She rolls a 5, so she can move, and that, I want to get her into the room at least to get rid of that provision about using grit tokens. So she can move up to 2 spaces, and as long as we get her into the room, that would be good. So I guess I'll just move her up 1, and then she can launch an attack, on the Rat's Nest, I guess. That would be something she can do. Now she has, I think we're going to have her use her faith tokens to try to heal some of these people. And I think what she will do, she's adjacent to both, so that's good. And I think she's going to cast Faith Healing. That is a 6+ casting blessing. And it says here she can heal D3 wounds from herself or adjacent hero. So she needs to roll a 6 or better to cast that. So let's start with that. And this is going to cost her 1 faith token. All right, we can spend those other faith tokens to add additional points to the roll if we need to. Here is the roll. And she rolled a 9, so she successfully casts Faith Healing, and that's going to give her D3, ability to heal D3 wounds from herself or adjacent heroes. We'll roll a D3 and see how much healing she got out of it. 1. Okay, well, the most severely damaged is Sister Hale herself. She has bandages, though, that she could use. So I think we're going to apply that 1 point of damage to Silas Barrow, moving him down to 6 of 10. We'll do it that way. And then Sister Hale is going to use a bandage. And she'll expend that, and that'll give her D6 ability to heal D6 wounds. Here's the roll. She rolls a 3. So she's going to heal 3 points from herself, moving her down to 6 of 12. And I think she's going to spend another bandage to do another healing. We'll see how much we can get for this one. D6. 6. Okay, we can heal 6 points, 6 wounds. So I think we will heal 3 from Sister Hale and 3 from Silas Barrow. And that'll move both of them down to 3 wounds. Now Sister Hale ended her movement next to the rat's nest. So that's that Darkstone radiation. She's going to take a corruption hit. And we're going to have to roll on her willpower, 3+, to see if she does take it or not. She rolls a 3, so she doesn't have to take the corruption hit. That's great. And now she can launch a melee attack against the rat's nest. Incidentally, I should point out that I took that second bandage from Sister Hale's Badlands Adventure gear. That gets replenished every time, so she still has 2 bandages left in her side bag. I have one oversight that I messed up on, and that is Hana Okabe. When she killed the 2 Scourge Rats, she has this Swordmaster ability, and that should have given her +1 combat, immediately gain +1 combat for that attack. So if you kill a creature, you get +1 to your combat. So she would actually get 2 more combat rolls. And she can spend those against the rat's nest if they are hits. She's got 2 hits, and she can spend both of those against the rat's nest. And that's what we'll do. We'll temporarily interrupt the combat from Sister Hale. So she's got 2 hits on the rat's nest. It has a defense of 1. So here's the rolls. And she has a 1, that's nothing, but the 3 minus 1 is 2. We do 2 wounds to the rat's nest. So we'll mark the rat's nest with 2 wounds, and now Sister Hale will launch her melee attack. She's going to be using her Holy Book. That gives her +1 to combat, so she has a total combat level of 3. She'll roll 3 dice, and she's going to hit on a 5+. That is her, 4+ is her melee. 4+. Here's the roll. And she does 1 hit, and she'll apply that to the rat's nest. We'll see how much damage we can do. -1 defense. A 2 minus 1 is 1, so we'll do an extra hit on the rat's nest. It's at 3 already. Okay. So that will bring the round to a close, and now the rat's nest can use its spawner ability. They're going to roll 3 dice, and for every 4+, they are going to spawn a new Scourge Rat. And they have spawned 1. So a new Scourge Rat comes out on the board adjacent to the rat's nest. And I guess they will put it right here. And that completes the round. We'll start a new round, but now the initiatives of these creatures will go back to their normal levels. The rat's nest, or Scourge Rats, will be at 8, the rat's nest at 0, and that is how we will proceed. We'll start by holding back the darkness. Still 2 Scourge Rats, 3 Scourge Rats left on the board. Okay, here's hold back the darkness roll. We need a 7 or better. And we've got a 6, so we failed. It's going to move that up to 4, and a darkness card is coming out. And the darkness card is revealed to be Hunted Through the Void. All right, let's take a closer look at that. All right, Hunted Through the Void, Darkness, Void Hounds, leaping out of another dimension to attack a vicious pack of Void Hounds, savagely tears at you before phasing back out of reality. Every hero takes 3 horror hits. 1 random hero also takes 6 hits that do 2 damage each. Wow. All right, so each hero is going to take 3 horror hits. So we're going to roll for our willpower. We'll start out with Sister Hale. She has a willpower of 3+. We'll see how many of these that she can block. She's blocked 2 of them. So she's going to take 1 horror hit. We'll mark her with a sanity damage. Okay, she's at 1 of 11. Next is Hana Okabe. She has a willpower of 4+. She's blocked 1. She's going to take 2 sanity damage. We'll mark her with 2 sanity damage. Hana is at 2 of 14 now. And finally, Silas Barrow. He has a willpower of 4+. And he's blocked 1. He's going to take 2 sanity damage, and that's going to move him to 2 of 14. But now we have to get a random hero to take these 6 hits that do 2 damage each. And I hope it is going to be Hana Okabe because she has the best defense. So we're going to use these hero tokens, and we will just mix them up and find out who is the culprit. We'll try this one, and it is Sister Hale. Okay, so Sister Hale is going to take six hits that are going to do 2 damage each. So she gets to roll 6 dice in defense. Okay, and she defends, unfortunately, at a 5+, so not too good. Okay, here we go. Well, she did okay. She ended up defending 2 of them, but 4 of them are going to get through for 8 wounds. 8 and 3 is 11, so she is currently at 11 of 12, and I'm going to mark her with 11 of 12. Okay. That takes care of this Hunted Through the Void card. All right, I think Sister Hale is going to immediately use these bandage tokens to try to repair that damage. She's going to use 1 of them from her side bag, and we'll see if she can repair the damage. I believe I'm just not sure about that. Can you use those? Does it have to be on your turn, or can it be used any time? I wish there was some clarification to that. Yeah, the side bag token card just says discard to heal D6 wounds. I mean, I don't know. I guess we're going to employ them as fast action tokens that they can be used at any time. I mean, that seems to be how it would work. So she's going to use a bandage, and she'll heal D6 wounds. She rolls a 1. That gets it from 11 down to 10 wounds. I guess she's going to use her last bandage, and she'll do another D6 healing. 6. Okay, so that'll move her down from 10 wounds down to 4. That's a little bit better. All right, so those bandages are consumed. And now we're going to have these characters activate in order, starting with the Scourge Rats. They have a movement value of 12. This one is committed. That one and that one are not committed yet, so we will have to, I guess each of them are going to attack one of the characters. So this one will move up and attack her. Be better for it to be this way. They'd be adjacent. So that's how we'll do it. Okay, we'll start out with the attack against Silas. That is a single rat with 1 adjacent, so it's going to have a combat level of 2. And it will hit on a 3+. And it has 1 hit. So he has a chance to defend it with a 5+ defense. And he's done it. So he's managed to stop the attack. That is great. Next will be the attack on Sister Hale. It's attacking, and it's adjacent to 2 others, so it will get a 3 dice combat level, hitting on a 3+. And it hit once. That's amazing. We'll see if she can defend it. 5+ defense. And she did. She defended it. No damage. That's great. Finally, the last attack on Hana Okabe, that is going to have a combat level of 2. It's adjacent to 1 other Scourge Rat. Here is the attack roll. And it has done 1 hit on her, Let's see if she can defend it with a 3+ roll. She did not, so she is going to take 3 wounds, moving her up to 6 wounds out of 11. All right, we've updated their statistics, and next up to activate is going to be the gunslinger. And he's going to roll for movement. I want to get him in the room so he can use his grit. He rolls a 1. Okay, well, he already has a full complement of grit tokens, so I think he'll use that new grit token for an extra move roll. And we'll see if he can escape from these scourge rats. He's going to need a 3+ to do it. He did not, so he has to stay where he is. It's too bad. The grit is wasted, and he's going to open up with his pistol. He is going to hit on a 3+. Pistol does 2 shots. Here's the roll. He's done 2 hits. One of them is a critical. Well, he's going to target the one, I think, here, because that's kind of a link between them for gaining extra combat dice. So he'll target the critical hit against that scourge rat, and we'll see how much damage he does. Here's the roll. He does 6 points of damage, easily killing the scourge rat and earning 15 XP. All right, he has 1 hit left to apply. He'll apply it to the one in back of him with a defense of 1. Okay, here is the roll. He rolls a 5. -1 is 4. It's enough to kill it. He's done it. Another 15 XP. All right, that's going to bring Silas's activation to a close. We'll move on to Hana Okabe. And she is going to, whoops, let me get rid of that. Okay, so Hana Okabe will roll for movement. She rolls a 5, so she has 5 movement points. And I guess she is just going to stay where she is. And that means that she's going to have to undergo the Darkstone radiation. She gets 1 corruption. We'll see if she can defend it. She has a willpower of 4. She did. She has a 5, so that corruption is no problem. All right, she's going to use her Dancing Dragon ability. She's going to move to the space with the Scourge Rat, placing a Fury token there. And then she's going to attempt an agility test. She has a agility of 3. She needs a 5+. She's done it, so she can repeat the process. She'll move to the rat's nest and place a Fury token there. There's no other targets, so she's going to dismount from there. And now each target is going to gain number of wounds without defense equal to the number of Fury tokens placed. So each of them are going to take 2 wounds. So 2 wounds will go on that Scourge Rat, and 2 will go on the rat's nest. That'll move the rat's nest up to 5 wounds, and the Scourge Rat will have 2 on him. Very effective tactic. And that ended up costing her 2 Fury tokens. Okay, now she's going to launch her standard attack with the katana. And she rolls combat level of 2. She hits on a 3+. She has 1 hit. And I guess we're going to apply that to the Scourge Rat, try to get rid of it. Has a defense of 1. She rolls a 3. -1 is 2. 2 more hits with 2 there will kill it. And she's going to earn 15 XP. It's also going to give her a Fury token. That's her 4th. And she gets +1 combat because of she killed a creature with her rapid strike as a sword master. So that is great. So we'll give her a free combat roll against the rat's nest. She's got a critical hit. That is amazing. We'll see how much damage she does to the rat's nest. 3. So that'll move it up to 8 out of its health of 12. All right. That is going to bring her turn to a close. I just remembered that Silas has his silver harmonica. That would have given him Spirit Armor 6+. And I'm going to have to remember to use that in the future. He did take 2 points of sanity damage that he could have used that silver harmonica against, but it's already quite a ways back, so we'll just let that go. That's going to finish with Hana Okabe, and we'll activate Sister Hale. Sister Hale will roll for movement. She rolls a 4. Well, there's no need to move anywhere, so I'll keep her where she is. She's going to have to undergo the Darkstone radiation. She's going to take a corruption hit, and she can defend it with 3+ willpower. And she did it, so no corruption for her. She's going to use her Holy Book against the Rat's Nest. She has a combat level of 3 with the Holy Book, and she hits on a 4+. Here is the attack. And she's done 2 hits, one of which is a critical hit against the Rat's Nest. That's great. Let's do the critical hit first, and we'll see how much damage it takes. And she's done 3 damage to it. That will move that up to a total of 11 out of 12. She has 1 hit left to apply, and this one will be under a -1 defense. Here's the damage. She rolls a 2. -1 is 1, but that's enough, and that's 12 hits, and she's killed the Rat's Nest. That's great. That's going to earn her 10 XP plus 5 for each hit against the Rat's Nest. All right, so that is going to bring the combat to a close, and we'll go with our catch our breath rolls. Everyone activated, so they're all going to get a D3 worth of healing. We'll start out with Sister Hale. She has 3 points to heal, and we'll get rid of 1 sanity and 2 regular damage. Okay, that puts her at 2 of 12. Hana Okabe is next. Let's see what she gets. She has a 1, so we'll heal 1 point of wound damage, putting her at 5 of 11. And finally, Silas Barrow. He has a 3, so he'll get rid of 3 wound damage. That'll completely heal him of wound damage. And now we get our rewards, our loot cards. Okay, we're going to shuffle up our loot deck, and we'll see what everybody gets. Okay, 1 is going to go for Silas, 1 for Sister Hannah, and our Sister Hale, and 1 for Hana Okabe. Let's see what Silas gets. And he has gold nuggets, D6 times $50 and 20 XP. Okay. So D6 times 50. 2. So it's $100 and 20 XP. Okay, that's Silas's loot card. We'll see what Sister Hale gets. And she has, this should come in handy. Draw a gear card. All right, let's see what she gets. And she gets a coach gun. Well, she can't use guns, but this has a range of 2 with 2 shots, and it uses a D8 to hit. 6, 7s, or 8s count as a critical hit. Critical hits are plus X damage, where X is equal to the target's printed defense. That is interesting. Well, she'll keep that for right now. That's going to add another anvil of weight. She's at 7 of 8 capacity right now. So that earned her 20 XP. And finally, we'll see what Hana Okabe comes up with. She ended up getting cash, $50 with 20 XP. Okay. All right, so following that combat, these are the current XP and dollar values for each of the heroes. Sister Hale has 190 XP with $485. Silas Barrow has 305 XP with $365 and 2 Darkstone. And Hana Okabe has 190 XP with $365 and 2 Darkstone. Okay, we're going to continue on now, and we'll try to hold back the darkness. Here's the roll. The result is a 5, so we have failed. And that'll move the darkness up one more, up to 5 now. Okay, now we're going to activate in order, starting with the gunslinger. Have him roll for movement. Everybody has 2 grit. He rolls a 1. Okay, so he's going to use that extra grit beyond his max grit for an extra movement. So he'll move the 1, and then he'll spend that grit he just got for an additional movement of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And he's going to take a look down the path. And this time he finds a switch curve that has an advanced encounter called rail switch. Okay, we're going to set that up on the board and readjust the camera. Okay, first step is to see if we're going to have that advanced encounter. 1, 2, or 3 is a yes. The roll is a 3, so we will be having the rail switch advanced encounter added to whatever is going to be on this exploration token. All right, we've got the rail switch encounter, and now we're going to find out if Silas is going to be doing anything else. He has a whiskey, but he's only carrying 2 sanity damage out of 14, so I don't think he's going to do anything else. So we'll move on to Hana Okabe, and she's going to roll for movement. She rolls a 6, so she's got 6 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to have her charge right in there. That's kind of her style. All right. And that's going to bring her to a close. Now we'll move on to Sister Hale. She will roll for movement. She rolls a 6. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. And I think Sister Hale is going to use one of her Fury tokens. And she's going to cast her Faith Healing spell. Or blessing, I should say. So she needs to roll a 6 or better. She rolls a 5. So we're going to spend 1 additional Faith token to get us to 6. And then she can cast that Faith Healing. That's going to be D3 wounds to herself or an adjacent character. And we're going to use them, I think, on Hana Okabe. We'll see what kind of roll we get. D3 wounds can be healed. We got 1. So I guess we'll heal that from Hana. So that's going to move her from 5 wounds down to 4 of 11. I think that's all that Sister Hale is going to do. All right, so that will bring the round to a close, and now we're going to go into our exploration phase. And we'll see what is happening with that exploration token. We're still looking for another clue token. This one is revealed to be 2 encounters with 1 door. Okay, we're going to add in 2 encounters to that total, and now we got to figure out where the door is. And the door will be at 1, 2, or 3, or 4, 5, or 6. It's going to be at 4, 5, or 6, so the door will be to the south of us. We'll place a door there, and we have to get an end cap for the other area. All right, now we are going to shuffle up our encounter cards, and we're going to find out what we have to do with these encounters. So we'll give these a shuffle. Okay, and we're going to resolve those one at a time. Okay, our first one is the rail switch encounter. Okay, rail switch. Okay, the rail switch reads, Encounter Environment Explore. The rail tracks set into the dusty floor here split off into 2 directions, and there is a switch box to change their path. Choose. Pull the switch. So we have to select a hero to perform a Strength 4+ test. Or we can ignore it and move on. Nothing happens as you pass it by. Let's look a little bit closer at pull the switch. If successful, gain 25 XP and roll a d6. On a 1 or 2, the ceiling collapses under the pressure of the force used to pull the switch. Each hero takes d6 hits. On a 3, 4, 5, or 6, you can hear the rails ahead creak and groan. Something has changed. Next time you reveal an exploration token, you may discard it and draw a new one. That would be quite handy. All right, our strongest characters are Sister Hale, strength of 3, and Hana Okabe, strength of 3. Sister Hale has a slightly more health than Hana does, so I think we'll have Sister Hale attempt it. So she needs to make a strength 4+ test. So let's see if we can do that. She's done it. She's got a 4. So she is successful. It's going to earn her 25 XP. Then it says, if successful, roll a d6. On a 1 or 2, the ceiling will collapse. Otherwise, if it's a 3, 4, 5, or 6, we can hear the rails ahead creak and groan. Next time we reveal an exploration token, we can discard it and draw a new one. So it'll be worth it if we can pass this. We don't want a 1 or 2. We've got a 3, so that's great. All right, we're going to keep that card then, and we will use that to get possibly another exploration token. That is great. All right, now we're going to draw our next encounter card, and this one is Cursed Gold. Encounter active loot curse. In the center of the room sits a large open steamer trunk overflowing with gold coins and nuggets. The shimmering gold glow lights up the room, drawing you in. At the foot of the trunk sits a blood-splattered and wrinkled note, scrawled on a piece of paper. This gold is cursed. Touch it at your own peril. All right. It says here, any hero can take up to $2,000 in cursed gold from the trunk in increments of $100. For every 100 you took, you must also roll a d6. Grit cannot be used. For every 1 rolled, add a growing dread card to the stack. If you add 4 or more growing dread cards, you lose d6 health sanity, any mix permanently. Whoa. Well, I think it's worthwhile if we do this judiciously. If we don't get too greedy. We got a good chance of getting some cash and maybe not having any problems. So I think we'll start with, it says any hero. I'm assuming that means any one hero? I don't know. For every $100 you took, you must also roll a d6. I don't know if that's limited to one person or not. Maybe it is. It says any hero singular. So, all right, we'll take, I think, Hana Okabe. She's going to take $200 in the cursed gold. So we're going to give her $200. She's going to have to roll a die for each 100 she takes. And if we get any ones, we'll have to add growing dread cards for them. So here's the roll. And she has 1, 1. Okay, so we're going to have to add a growing dread card to the stack. So we're adding our first growing dread card to the stack. $200 is added to Hana Okabe. So that's great. Okay. And then we have 1 encounter card left to resolve. And this one is Dark Altar. Encounter environment cult. A wicked-looking altar rests here. Clearly, someone has been up to no good. Choose. Knock down the altar, performing a Strength 5+ test. If successful, gain 40 XP. If failed, that may have been a mistake. Attack. Draw a threat, and it is elite. Well, we don't want to do that. We can ignore it and move on. And then each hero has to pass a Luck 3+ test. If failed by any hero, draw a darkness card. I think we will take that option out of the two. So everyone is going to have to perform a luck 3+ test. It's not too hard. We'll start out with Sister Hale. She has a luck value of 3. So all we got to do is get 3+ on this. And she's past that. She's got a 6 there, so no problems with her. Next is Hana Okabe. She has a luck of 2. This will be a little harder, but all we need is a 3+. Here we go. She's done it. She's got a 6. And finally, Silas Barrow. He has a luck of 4. So we get 4 dice for this test. And all he needs is a single 3 or better. And he's easily done it. He's got all 4 were successes. So we've accomplished all of the encounter cards in this room. That is great. Now we have a way to mitigate that growing dread card that we just took. And that is if each party member surrenders a grit token, we can discard the growing dread. And I think we're going to do that right now. Each character is going to discard 1 grit token, and then we're going to discard that growing dread card without looking at it. All right, we're ready to start a new round, and we will hold back the darkness. We rolled an 8, and that is sufficient. I'm going to make sure that our track has been updated, and it has not. We are at 10 now, so we need 8 pluses now. 8+ for the darkness rolls. All right, so we are ready, and we can activate in order, starting with the gunslinger, Silas Barrow. He's going to roll for movement. He rolls a 3. Okay, we'll have him move 1, 2, 3. And could have him try a scavenge. I think we will. We'll have him try a scavenge roll. He has no successes. Okay, that's going to bring his turn to a close. We'll move on to Hana Okabe. She is going to roll for movement. She rolls a 3. So we'll have her move 1, 2, and 3. And she's going to take a look down the passage. And she finds a cross passage, no exploration token. So that's going to move our depth track down to 9, and we will set up that cross passage. All right, we've set up the cross passage, so we've got 3 doors to select from. That's going to bring Hana Okabe's activation to a close, and now we'll roll for Sister Hale for movement. And that's a cocked die. 2. Okay, so she's got 2 movement points. We'll move her there. And I think she's going to, she gets back her faith tokens. So she's got 3 of them. She's going to spend 1 of them. And she's going to cast that faith healing. That has a casting value of 6+. So she'll try to cast that. She's done it. She's got an 8. And that is successful, so she can heal D3 wounds to herself or an adjacent hero. So let's roll D3 and see how much healing she gets. 1 point. And I guess we will heal that from Sister Hale. She's down to 1 wound out of 12 right now. All right. And that's going to bring the round to a close. And I don't think there's anything else that we want to do. She could have scavenged, but I think we'll pass on that for the time being. So we will start a new round, and we're going to hold back the darkness. We need 8s now, so this could go quickly. We've got a 6, so we failed, and that's going to move the depth track up to 6, and that's going to issue us a growing dread card. So we're going to add a growing dread card to our stack. That's the first one so far. We were able to deal with that other one. All right, now we are going to activate for movement, starting with the gunslinger. We'll have him roll for movement. He rolls a 2, so he'll move ahead 1 and 2. And he could do a scavenge roll, and I think he will. He'll scavenge in this tile in back of him, so he'll roll 3 dice and see if he can get something. He's got 1 success. Okay, so we're going to get out our scavenge deck and shuffle it up. All right, we've got our scavenge deck. We're going to give that a shuffle. And we'll see what he finds. All right, here it is. He gets nothing here, 10 XP. Okay. All right, next to activate is Hana Okabe. And she is going to roll for movement. She rolls a 1. Okay, that's going to get her a grit token. So we will add a grit to Hana. And she's going to move ahead 1 space. And I don't know about trying a scavenge or not. I guess we will. We'll try one. We need to try to build up her XP and money. Here's her scavenge roll. No successes. Okay, I have to place a scavenge token, though, on this rear passage in back of Silas. Okay, so that will end her turn. And I think we will activate Sister Hale for movement. Here's her roll. She rolls a 6. Okay, we'll have her move 1, 2, and 3. And there, she's going to recover all of her faith tokens. And she's going to cast Faith Healing. She'll pay 1 faith token and see if she can roll 6 or better for her casting value. She rolled a 5, so we will spend an extra faith token, getting us a total of 6, and then she can heal D3 from herself or an adjacent hero. She rolls a 2. Okay, she's going to heal 2 from Hana. That puts Hana at 2 wounds, 1 for Sister Hale, none for Silas Barrow. And that is going to bring her turn to a close. She could try a scavenge, I guess. Maybe we should do that. We'll try it. We'll have her scavenge in that passage. She has no success. Okay, so that will bring the turn to an end. And we will start a new round by holding back the darkness. Okay, here is our darkness roll. We need 8+. We rolled a 7, so we have failed, and the darkness now is at 7. All right. And we will activate in order, starting with Silas. Now, he's kind of blocked out there. I should have tactically done that a little differently. Okay, here's his roll for movement. He rolls a 4. There's not much he can do other than stay where he is. And I think since he's there, he'll try another scavenge on that passage in back of him. See if he can get a scavenge here. He has no success. That'll bring his turn to a close. We'll move on to Hana Okabe. And I think we are going to be checking out this passage. So we'll have her roll for movement. She rolls a 3. 1 and 2. And she's going to take a look down the passage and see what she sees. She sees a mid-passage, no exploration token. Our depth now moves down to the 8 mark. All right. We'll place a mid-passage there. All right, Hana has found a mid-passage. There's no exploration token, and I guess I'll have her do a scavenge on this tile. She has no successes. That'll bring her turn to a close. We'll move on to Sister Hale. Sister Hale will roll for movement. She rolls a 6. Okay. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll move her there. She's going to get her faith tokens back, and she's going to spend 1 of them to enact her spell, Faith Blessing. Rolls a 6. That is sufficient, so she can heal D3 wounds. And we'll see if we can get rid of those wounds for Hana. rolls a 2. Okay, she's going to get rid of 1 for herself and 1 for Hana. Now we've only got 1 wound on Hana Okabe. And that's going to bring the round to a close. And we will have to hold back the darkness once again. So we'll make our hold back the darkness roll. The result is double 2s. That's a depth event. And 2 is Dark Dread. Things are looking more and more bleak by the moment. Draw a Growing Dread card and add it to the stack. Well, this is going to be our second Growing Dread card. So we'll add that to the stack. All right, now we are going to activate in order, beginning with the Gunslinger. He'll roll for move. He rolls a 1, so he's going to get a grit token. That is great. It's his second grit. Whoops, that's a wound token. Let me get a grit token. Okay. And he'll move 1 space. All right, that is going to bring his turn to a close. We'll move on to our Wandering Samurai, Hana Okabe. Here's her roll. She rolls a 3, so 1, 2, 3. Not enough to get to the end of the passage. We'll have her scavenge in that corridor. She has 1 success, so we are going to get out our scavenge deck. And we'll give that scavenge deck a shuffle and see what she gets. Okay, this time she gets Small Find, 10 XP and $25. All right. And we'll place a scavenge token down in that passage. All right. Now, I think that's going to be it for her. We'll activate Sister Hale. She'll roll for movement. She rolls a 6. Okay. Well, I think I'll just move her up 2. Gotta wait till Silas gets closer. And I think she'll attempt a she gets her faith tokens back. She'll spend a faith token and attempt to get that faith healing again. We need a 6+ for success. She rolls a 3, so there's not enough, even if I spend all of my faith tokens, to perform that. So that's a failure. So I guess she will attempt a scavenge attempt. We can scavenge up to twice. Here's her scavenge roll. She has no successes. That will bring the round to a close, and we will roll to hold back the darkness for a new round. Okay, here's our hold back the darkness roll. And we've rolled double 5s. Okay, double 5s. And that's listed as Terrifying Shriek. A shriek of pain and suffering echoes through the mind, chilling you to the bone. Each hero in the mines immediately takes D6 horror hits. All right, so we'll start out with Sister Hale. We'll see how many she takes. She takes 3. Okay, so she has to defend 3 of those. And she has a willpower of 3+. That's pretty good. She's defended none of them. Wow. Okay, she's going to take 3 sanity damage then. Okay, we'll mark her with 3 sanity damage. Next is Hana Okabe. We'll see how many she takes. She takes 4. Okay, so 4. She has a willpower of 4+. Let's see how many she can defend. She defends 1. She's going to take 3, so that will move her up to 5 sanity damage. 5 out of 14, not too bad. And finally, Silas Barrow. Let's see how many he takes. He takes 3. Okay, so 3 for him. We'll see if he can defend these. He has a willpower 4+. He's defended none of them, but he does have spirit armor. I'm going to try to remember to use this. That's his silver harmonica. He has a Silver Harmonica, Spirit Armor 6+. So that means we get to roll 1 die for each wound, and on a 6+, we can eliminate it. Okay, here's the chance. None of them. So he's going to take 3 sanity damage. That'll move him up to a total of 5 out of 14. All right, that takes care of the depth event. Now we will activate in order, starting with Silas himself. Okay, here's his roll for movement. He rolls a 2, so he's got 1 and 2. And let's see what side bag tokens he has. He has a whiskey. I think he's going to use that. So that'll allow him to heal D6 sanity damage. And he rolls a 1, of course, so that moves his sanity damage from 5 down to 4. 4 sanity damage, and we'll mark him accordingly. Whiskey wasn't very effective. Okay, that's going to complete his turn. We will activate with Hana and see what she gets for movement. She rolls a 2. We'll have her move ahead 1, and she's going to take a look through the door. And she finds a storage room that has an advanced encounter called Dusty Crates. Okay, let's get that out, and we will see if that advanced encounter is active. All right, we have set up the storage room. We're going to make a roll now and see if the Dusty Crates advanced encounter will be a part of this room. Make a roll. 1, 2, or 3 is a yes. Result is a 2, so we'll have to get the Dusty Crates advanced encounter out, and we'll place an exploration token in that room. It says a cutout, so that blocks movement and line of sight. All right, we've got the Dusty Crates encounter out. Our exploration token is placed, and let's see if there's anything else that Hana is going to do. I don't believe so. So that will end her activation. We'll move on to Sister Hale. She will activate for movement. She rolls a 4. And I think what we're going to do is I'll have her just move up 1 space. And she is going to use her faith tokens. She gets her 3 faith tokens back. She'll spend 1 of those to cast her faith healing. She needs a 6 or better. And she rolls a 7, so that's good. And she'll be able to heal D3 health from her or an adjacent. She rolls a 1, and that's just enough to heal Hana Okabe. So she's fully healed. I think Sister Hale is going to give Hana her whiskey bottle, and she's going to let her heal D6 sanity damage. So we'll have her make a D6 roll. And she gets a 1, so we heal 1 point of sanity damage, bringing Hana to 14 of 4. Or 4 of 14, I'm sorry. And I think that's all that Sister Hale is going to do. And we'll go to our exploration phase. All right, so we'll move to the end of the round, and we will flip over our exploration token. We have 1 advanced encounter already. This one it's an attack, and it is the last room. Okay, so let's read on our mission card what is going to happen with our second clue token. That says, when the heroes find the second clue token, they find the chamber containing the beasts. The chamber does not contain any doors. We're going to resolve a high threat, and we have to defeat the enemies to save the town and complete the mission. All right, so we're going to cap all of those exits, and then we have to resolve that encounter. All right, so we're going to discount the attack listed on the token, and we're going to eventually be drawing a high threat or rolling on the table for a high threat. First, we're going to resolve our encounter that we have here. And that one is called Dusty Crates. All right, let's take a closer look at that. All right, Dusty Crates. Encounter active explore. The room is filled with dusty crates and barrels. There could be something of use amongst all this. Then again, something doesn't smell right in here. Choose. We can start opening crates. Everyone would have to take Strength 5 Plus tests. For each 5 Plus roll, they will gain 10 XP and draw loot cards. For each one rolled, there would be an ambush attack of D3 Hungry Dead, and they're placed ambushing our hero. Otherwise, we can ignore them and move on. Each hero takes 3 horror hits, doing 2 sanity damage for each, as the sickly, sweet smell of death grows stronger while you pass through the room. I think we're going to take that option. I think that makes the best sense. I don't want to get into an ambush attack here when we know we're going to be fighting a high threat. So everybody's going to take 3 horror hits. We'll start out with Sister Hale. She has a willpower of 3+, so we'll see if she can stop these horror hits. And she did. She's got a 6, a 5, and a 4, so all of those are canceled. Next is going to be Hana Okabe. She has a willpower of 4+, so let's see how many she can stop. She stops 1, 2 are going to get through, causing her 4 sanity damage. That's going to move Hana up to 8 out of 14. So we'll mark her with 8 of 14. And finally, Silas Barrow. He has a willpower of 4+. Let's see how many he can stop. He stops none of them, so he's going to be taking 6 sanity damage. Whoa, maybe that wasn't a good idea after all. 6 and 4 is 10. He's got 10 sanity damage out of 14 now. And now we're going to be rolling for a high threat. And before we roll for the high threat, I almost forgot, we're going to use Silas's Silver Harmonica. That's a spirit armor of 6. So we'll see if he can stop any of this sanity damage. He'll get 6 dice, 1 for each of the sanity damage. And for every 6 he can roll, he'll stop one of them. So let's try it. He has no 6s, so no effect. Okay, so we're going to lay out now our high threats. So I'll bring up our beasts table, and we're going to be consulting the high threat column. And we're going to roll a d6, and that's what we're going to have to fight in here for the final battle. Here is the roll. Rolled a 4. And that's going to be 6 stranglers and 12 void spiders. All right, we're going to lay that out. All right, so we've laid out our void spiders and our stranglers. And they are, both of them are going to be getting these extra benefits from these remains in play cards. Power of the Void, +1 to combat for the void spiders, and +1 to combat for the demon enemies, which will be stranglers. Now I think what we're going to do, the next step will be to resolve the growing dread cards. Now we can spend grit to get rid of these cards even after they are revealed. So we'll see how bad this first one is and decide if we wish to spend a grit from each member to get rid of it. First one is A Fool's Errand. As the realization sinks in, you come face to face with the knowledge that you shouldn't have come here. For the remainder of this adventure, all enemies do +1 damage to every hit. We're going to get rid of that. Each of them are going to spend a grit token. And that will leave Silas and Hannah with 1 grit, none for Sister Hale. But we've canceled that card at least, so that's good. That growing dread card is canceled, and now we will resolve the next growing dread card. And that one is, It's Too Late. Surrounded by evil, you begin to fear that your time has run out. Until the end of the adventure, all enemy hits and horror hits do +1 damage each, or +2 damage if the hero posse marker is below the darkness marker on the depth track. Oh my goodness. Well, we can cancel that, but I don't have any more grit. Wait a minute. Wait. Sister Hale. Sister Hale has a tonic. She can use that to get a grit token. And she's going to spend a grit. Hana will spend a grit. And Silas will spend a grit. And we're going to get rid of that thing. That is terrible. We're going to get rid of it. And it cost us the tonic and those grits. But at least it's gone. We don't need that extra hassle. All right, so we've dealt with the Growing Dread cards. That's great. Let's take a look at the initiative board. All right, the Stranglers are going to be the first to activate. Then Silas will go. Then Hana. Then the Void Spiders. And finally, Sister Hale. That is what we've got for right now. This is the party's current condition. We have no wounds, but sanity damage is starting to become a problem. We do have a revive token left that we have not used yet. So that could be helpful for us. And I think we are going to close the video here. We'll start the combat in our next video. So far, we are doing okay. The problem is I have no way to deal with the sanity damage at this point. We've exhausted all of our whiskey. So unless something presents itself, this could be a problem. Now, fortunately, the Void Spiders and the Stranglers do not have any fear or any type of thing like that. So that is a good thing. We'll just have to see how this goes. But we do have the revive token. And Sister Hale will have her faith tokens, which will be great. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully Hana can use her fury against these spiders and gain lots of extra attacks. They're relatively easy to kill. They have no defense, so that should be helpful. And so I think we will close the video out here, and I look forward to seeing you again for our next episode. In the meantime, this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club, wishing everyone a pleasant evening. Good night.